Welcome everybody to TopLine's Live at 5. My name is Brian, and I am very happy to have you with us today for what I think is going to be a short video, because I wanted to talk about what we call ABCs of practice marketing. And the reason that I am doing a video on the ABCs of practice marketing is because there are some basic sort of marketing 101 concepts that we all know work, and that once you have these basic concepts in place, then you can start playing around with different ideas and strategies and tactics to get to like that just locked in, couldn't work better campaign. And I have run into on more than one occasion now, and very recently, a huge company that was not doing basic marketing 101. That led me to decide, let's just create a quick video here to talk about what that is, so that if you are working with a company that, you know, they have this big name and they're charging you a lot of money, you want to make sure that they know these basic things. Now, we're not talking about the textbook, 4 P's of marketing and all that stuff that I learned in college and all the fancy terms. No, we are talking about the things that we know work, that you have to have in place in order to get any real success. And what has happened is some of these big companies, they do beautiful artwork, and your ads and campaigns and mailers and everything just looks gorgeous, and it fails miserably. Gorgeous campaign does not equal effective campaign. Please keep that in mind. And I've said this to people before, hey, just whatever you do, don't just go with the pretty, because pretty doesn't mean effective. In fact, more often than not, a real pretty campaign will not perform nearly as well as an ugly campaign. And that's a topic for a different day, because I want to make sure we cover the basics here. And that's when you run any type of a marketing campaign, you have to have a headline. And that is the big first thing that people see. Yes, images will get attention, but believe it or not, ugly images will get more attention than beautiful images. So that means that you don't have to have gorgeous images. Now, each individual location, each area, each type of practice, you're going to want to play around and see what types of images your market is going to respond to best. But it doesn't mean that it has to be always, the sort of super gorgeous thing. Now, with your headline, that's what gets people's attention. That headline, the big thing that says, hey, look at me. That is probably the most important part of all your marketing. Because the headline's job is to get someone to stop and read it. And then, hopefully, if the headline is good enough, it'll get them to either read the next line or take that next step. Now, the reason I say those are two different options, because on Facebook, with an image, something big and a big headline on it, all we're really trying to do is to get you to stop to read the ad that we have in place. And there's going to be a headline underneath, there's going to be some text above, so it's a little bit more complicated. But if you're doing a direct ad or you're doing a landing page, you want a big headline, and that headline's job is to get you to read the next line. And that line's job is to get you to read the next line, and so on, until you have done enough to get them to take the action that you want them to take. So that leads me to sort of the next step, which is you've got to have an action that you want them to take. So you can't just assume they're going to figure out what you want them to do, which is to call your office or to fill out the form. You have to have that specific instruction of what you want them to do next. And if you don't have that, then don't run that campaign. The last thing that is so vital, that is going to be an offer that people care about. And again, this came from a huge corporation, and I've seen this not just from one, I've seen this from several big companies that have forgotten these basic concepts. And if you don't have a good offer, it doesn't matter how pretty your ad is, it will fail. And that means that you have to take the time to go through and say, okay, what can we offer that people are interested in? And then test different offers. There's not one right answer for every different industry, different locations, different target markets. All of these things play a role. So take the time to pick an offer that works. And that means that you can't just use sort of the standard free exam. Those just don't work as well as they used to. They used to work great. And there are some markets, believe it or not, where people don't even do that. So if you do that, it will work. but you have to really know your market. That means that you've got to have a great, what we call an HSO, a holy smokes offer, something that gets people to go, what, wait, really? That's great. What's the catch? And you want them to ask, what's the catch? So that you can tell them there's no catch. Or tell them there is a catch, and that's that you have to fill out the form before we run out. And that works extremely well. So the reason for the video today and for the blog post and everywhere else where you might be finding this today is to make sure that any marketing that you are paying for, that you are doing yourself, has these basic ABCs in place. And that's to have a great headline, test headlines. And when you test them, only test the headline. Don't change anything else with the ad, only the headline. Then you want to make sure that you are testing your calls to action, telling people what it is that you want to do, and then you test your offers. And in fact, I would suggest offer first. And the only reason I don't say that first on my list is because it's usually headline, call to action, offer. That's kind of how we lay it out. But that offer is huge. You can have everything done wrong, but such a great compelling offer that it still works. And then when you have that, and then you start adjusting everything else, you can have a great, fabulous, wonderful ad campaign. Okay, that's pretty much it, what I wanted to cover today. Let me know what questions you have, how we can support you, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Top Lines Live at 5. That's it for me. Bye for now.